Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Meat Long Dong Report. So we got a couple very important items today. Apparently, we could be having tariff stimulus checks because the U.S. government is making so much money that the God Emperor himself has suggested that the American people potentially share in that tariff revenue. I'm going to give you my opinion on that in a second. We have the GrabAGun. It's a company owned partially by Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr. That company's been getting absolutely clapped. We have two airline companies collapsing after earnings. And we have Ray Dalio once again doom-mongering the U.S. government debt. Yes, I'm going to have to be very quiet tonight because I have my children sleeping in the other room. So shut up. So let's dive right into it. So the first headline is the fact that we could potentially be getting stimmy checks. Okay, so first we were going to get Doge checks. Okay, the Doge, bro. Everybody was going to get 20% of all the savings from Doge. And then, of course, Doge failed because Elon Musk is a moron and a clown and a grifter. And he sucks at everything. And now Trump, in order to distract us from some other things going on, is proposing we get tariff stimulus checks. So let's listen to Trump. And yes, the audio's kind of bad. I know it's kind of bad because he's like next to an airplane, I think. But let's see what Trump has to say.
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in tens and tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. We just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
Okay, so apparently they're thinking about a rebate. Well, is there a lot of money coming in with tariffs? Are the tariffs compensating for the government debt? No, they're not. So we would have to bring in trillions of dollars a year in tariff revenue in order to offset our deficit. We're not bringing in that much. If we were bringing in trillions of tariff revenue, trade would basically stop. Okay, so if we look at the most recent deficit spending, so here's a current federal deficit by month for the current fiscal year. It starts in October 2024. First month, we spent $257 billion more. Then we spent $367, then -87, then $129, -$307, -$161, +$258 because of tax season. Everybody's paying their taxes. And then the next month, -$316. And then we have a slight blue month. So as you can see, there's a lot more red here than blue. And we just passed tax cuts. So if Trump wants to pay off the debt, if he wants to reduce debt, then I don't think a stimulus rebate would be a good idea. But, it's a good talking point because everybody loves free checks from the government. Even though the last time we got those, remember there was inflation a year after that? So this is the government deficit by year. And so far, we've spent $1.3 trillion more than we've taken in, and we just passed tax cuts. Is it possible we'll get a stimulus check? Yes, it's possible. Okay, because I don't think Trump cares about the debt. Is it going to be extreme? I don't think so. It's probably going to be for lower income people or maybe like middle class Americans, probably $75K of income for singles and $150 for married people. Okay. And there might be some kind of phase out, but I don't think a lot of people are going to get it. And if they did, it's not going to be that much because the tariffs are not stopping government debt. It's only going to get worse. Okay. So while I laud Trump for wanting to shower people with free money, and of course, make heaven hell, of course, he's talking about it. I don't think it's going to happen. Or if it does, it's going to be inconsequential. Next, we have GrabAGun. I don't know if I can say this word. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word. Are we still sharing? Let's make sure we're sharing. Yes, we are. Okay. This is GrabAGun. Okay. This is a company that was a SPAC where apparently you can go on this website and you can buy and sell firearms on a website, which I'd rather, if I was going to go buy a firearm, I would want to go see it in person. Right. But I guess you could buy it on a website. So GrabAGun Digital Holdings engages in the retail of firearms, ammunition, other outdoor enthusiast products, and related accessories in the United States. Okay. Let's read the SEC filing. So here's what I found. So, of course, we have Donald Trump Jr. on here. So why is this popular? Well, because he's related to Trump. Look at the CEO here. This guy, he's very odd looking. Okay. And then we have Omid Malik. Do they have two CEOs? What's going on here? I wonder if that's the SPAC and this is the company. Freaking weird. Okay, so let's see what they have to say about this company. So they're showing how they made it on the media. The Second Amendment is in our blood. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. We are answering that call. We are defenders. We are sportsmen. We are outdoorsmen. All right. Well, what's the opportunity here? Millennials and Gen Z are now shaping the future of firearms retail, already representing 37% of firearms owners and growing. Well, yeah, they're probably 37% of the population. The firearms U.S. retail address, and there's multiple companies that make firearms. Like the market is $25 billion. So basically, they're saying the future of firearms is with young people. Traditional firearms retailers fail to attract young buyers as they tend to prefer mobile and tech-forward experience. I don't know why you'd want to buy a firearm over the internet. That just seems weird to me. I mean, I would want to hold it because you can feel the weight. You know, you can kind of mess with it a little bit. You gotta get the feel of it. Okay, I've handled these before. I used to be in the Army. Just looking at it on a website, I don't know. Limited competition due to major players exiting or not participating in the market. Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods, Amazon. I remember Walmart used to sell firearms. I guess they stopped. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen them, but I haven't been looking for them either. So let's see. The problem. Blah, blah, blah. What's the problem? 2A sector has been stymied by woke capital constraints forced upon investors. Companies cannot reach target customers due to advertising bans and cancellation by legacy media and big tech. Oh, yes. Big tech has bent the knee to Donald Trump. Software companies deplatform 2A companies, stunting their capabilities and growth. I don't think we have a firearms problem. Okay, and then they're shelling some other stuff here. The GrabAGun solution. Our platform is built for the next generation of firearms enthusiasts and sportsmen on a premier proprietary tech stack for the 2A sector that supports demand prediction, procurement, and regulatory compliance. With our partnership with Colombier and their expertise in growing digital marketplaces, we believe we can fuel a revolution in firearms purchases for the next generation of defenders, sportsmen, and heroes. Okay. So in 2024, they had $93 million of revenue and they had adjusted EBITDA of $4.7 million. You know what that means? That means they lost money, because if they're quoting adjusted EBITDA, they lost money. Let's see. Okay, revenue growth. So all these other firearms companies are apparently losing revenue over 2 years, but this is a new company. So yeah, they're probably going to grow revenue, but 11% is not that impressive. And revenue with firearms is like sporadic. Basically, whenever a Democrat gets elected, everybody runs and buys guns. And then when a conservative gets elected, nobody freaks out. So people don't rush to buy firearms. Like, it's a very cyclical industry. So, oh, wow, they have revenue growth. Wow, a small company. Okay, they're basically the whole selling point is that it's online because I guess boomers and Gen X don't know how to use online. I mean, you would think boomers would have figured out how to use online right now. All right, so it's just a bunch of patriotic rah-rah nonsense. Do they actually have the earnings of this company? I want to see the actual earnings of this company. Leadership team. Donald J. Trump Jr. is a director. Let's see. Okay, I didn't want to read a stupid bio. Here we go. Wow, they're actually profitable. They actually made money. Shocker. So their margins aren't super high. So you can see basically sorry if I can try to freaking zoom into this. It's hard to zoom in. It's not really zooming in. But basically, they've had revenue growth from 2022 to 2024, but their gross profit has shrank every single year, and their net income has shrank every single year. So they're having some margin issues. But they are profitable. Shocking. I'm actually surprised they're profitable. So why is it selling off? I don't see the huge appeal. I just don't get the online buying thing. Maybe I'm crazy. But I would, if I wanted to go buy something, I would actually go to a store and touch it. And I've bought rarely, but I've bought them before. You gotta see it. You gotta see it before you freaking buy it. Okay, because you're gonna find that some of the firearms don't meet your specifications once you actually touch it. So that's kind of weird. So let's see what the stock's been freaking cooked. Let's see. 1 year, it's down 57%. Okay. What's the valuation? Do they even have the valuation of this? Okay, it's at a price to sales of like, what, 2 something? PE of 50. And so it's got a PE of 50 and it's not even growing profits. And the revenue, the revenue's growing a little bit, but I don't know. This is why you don't buy freaking IPOs. Okay. All right, let's look at airlines. So apparently airlines have been getting cooked. And I've had terrible experiences with airlines. Every time I go on vacation, I get delayed. I get stuck overnight. It's happened freaking twice. When I went to Tampa last year, got stuck in Tampa overnight. Or maybe it was like a connecting area. But I got stuck. I had to freaking leave the airport, spend the night in a hotel. And because the crew didn't show up. And then when I came back from New Orleans, I was at the airport and they kept delaying. And I basically pulled an all-nighter. I was supposed to get home at like midnight. I didn't get home till like 9 a.m. the next day. Flying has become a freaking nightmare. And of course, I'm going on vacation again soon. So pray for me, boys. So I don't know what's going on with the flying. Maybe it's Geodis laying people off or what. But all right, let's look at American Airlines earnings. So record quarterly revenue of $14 billion. Let's see. Let's go see what American Airlines has done before. Okay. They're still growing revenue. That's good. Second quarter GAAP net income of $599 million or 91 per diluted share. Do they have diluted earnings per share on this? Oh, is this the most recent? Oh, yeah, this is the earnings. Okay, let's see. So they actually updated the website already. That's pretty good. So let's see earnings growth over time. So earnings really hasn't been growing over time. It's basically been flat after taking huge losses during the pandemic. Free cash flow per share has been dropping. It's basically been flat. Even if the revenue is growing, the profits and the free cash flow have been flat or even declining. Let's look at margins. Margins have roughly stayed the same. Operating margin roughly the same. So there's really not a lot of profit growth with this company. There's not a lot of earnings growth with American Airlines. Excluding net special items, second quarter net income of $628 million. Oh, well, one-time items. Second quarter operating margin of 8%. American delivered record revenue in an evolving demand environment in the second quarter thanks to hard work. We remain confident the actions we have taken over the past years to refresh our fleet, aka capital expenditures, manage costs, and strengthen our balance sheet position as well for the future. Let's see. The company continued the restoration of revenue from indirect channels, driven by a faster than expected recovery in leisure channels, further solidifying its plan to return to historical share of indirect channel revenue exiting this year. Continued strength in premium cabin demand. Who flies first class? Like, I cannot justify that, ever. Like, I'd have to be insanely wealthy to fly first class. Okay. So I wonder what caused it to... I remember American Airlines sold off. Let's see. I remember looking at it. It was down like 9%. There you go. Look at that freaking plunge. Wonder what it was. Was it the guidance? Well, that's Southwest. So apologize. Let's see if I can find guidance. Guidance. Based on its current booked revenue, expectations of future demand trends, and excluding, the company expects a third quarter 2025 adjusted net loss per share. So they're projecting a loss of between 10 cents and 60 cents. That's a big variance. Based on the recent booking trends, American expects its full year earnings to be between negative 20 cents and positive 80 cents. So, we could have a total a loss this year or a decent profit. The company believes the top end range is achievable if demand in the domestic market continues to strengthen, and only expect to be at a bottom end of the range if there were to be macro weaknesses that are not seen today. So, I don't think... Yeah. This thing's just been selling off and off and off. Good Lord, look at this. I don't know what to say, man. Very interesting business. I'll leave it at that. Oh, but it sold off during the pandemic. If you had bought the dip, you would have made like maybe a double if you timed it perfectly. I don't know. They're not growing earnings. It's probably a super competitive business. Their free cash flow isn't growing. They're guiding for a potential loss. Interesting. Okay, then we have Southwest Airlines. Let's see. Net income of $213 million, 39 cents of income per diluted share. Let's look at love. What's been going on with love? I love you, bro. Okay, let's see revenue growth over time. So obviously revenue has grown pretty significantly since the pandemic. Shocker. EPS basically trending down, just like American. Their earnings are not growing. Yeah, their earnings are contracting. Free cash flow per share, they're really not even turning a profit. Free cash flow per share. Let's see, margins. Yeah, this is not a very profitable business. So they have razor thin margins and they're not growing free cash flow. They're not growing earnings per share. As a matter of fact, it's contracting. See their balance sheet. Do they have positive equity? Wow, they have okay, look at the equity. It's just going down and down and down and down. I mean, maybe it's from buybacks. Yeah, it could be from buybacks, but I don't know. I don't get it. This is like you would trade a stock like this, I would imagine. Let's see. But hey, they're buying back shares and paying dividends. Honestly, I'd rather just take a dividend from this company. Launched bag fees with financial benefit exceeding expectations. Oh, bag fees. The thing about Southwest, I think is hilarious, they have a find your own seating. So basically what you do is you line up and you just get on the plane and you find a seat, the first seat you can find. It's hilarious. But I'm military, so I always go first. And I'm always able to get a seat towards the front and an aisle. I'm an aisle seat man. I like the aisle because I go pee-pee a lot and I don't want to be disturbed. And I'm always sat next to a fat person. While early, recent industry demand shows signs of improvement off of depressed second quarter 2025 levels. Okay, providing updated full-year guidance to EBIT, so not even profit, in the range of 600 to 800 million. And they authorize a 2 billion share repurchase program. Guidance. Let's see. Q3 estimation. RASM year over year. I don't even know what that means. Revenue? Fuel cost per gallon? I don't know what any of these freaking acronyms mean. Let's see. Oh, okay. They introduced bag fees. Let's see. Reintroduce flight credit expiration. Grifters. Announced partnership with China Airlines. Retrofitted some airplanes. Announced sell date of July 29, 2020 for assigned and premium seating. Uh-oh. Are we picking seats now? Second quarter passenger revenues were down 1.3% year over year. Operating revenues were down 1.5%. Yeah, not looking pretty, boys. I don't know how an airline could really like massively increase profits. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Airlines, bro. And finally, if this actually loads, we're going to hear Ray Dalio, our hero, warning us of the dangers of U.S. debt. So I've been hearing this over and over again. And, you know, I'm not a fan of the U.S. government debt either, but it seems like it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't freaking matter. We can just print and print and print and issue and issue and issue, and everybody wants our debt. So let's see what old Ray Dalio has to say. And he's been warning about this for a while, but nothing's happened. This actually works. Let's see if I can refresh this. Let's go reggae. Reggae. Oh, yeah, man. I want to hear the warning, bro. I don't know why this isn't working. Like I say, is it copyrighted? Freaking lame. I thought it worked. Piece of shit. Oh, God. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else. Oh, my God. He sounds the alarm on U.S. debt. Here we go. Maybe this will work.
No matter where we are in the world, our needs for a fulfilled life are basically the same.
Oh, really? All right, we'll let the stupid ad play. Oh, we're so happy. Yay. Single mom. Yay. Strong, independent woman doing surgery. Financial advisor. Tesla Cybertruck. Pandemic. Sorry, I tried. Carrier. It's a Carrier advertisement.
Reserve headquarters today was born from his continuing anger at Fed Chair Jerome Powell's unwillingness so far to lower interest rates. Those closely watching the friction are warning that the
Doesn't Trump look cute in his little hard hat?
value of the dollar could be at risk. Joining us now is one of those voices, Ray Dalio. He's a global macro investor who anticipated many of the financial crises the world has faced. He's the founder of the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates and the author of the brand new book, How Countries Go Broke, The Big Cycle, which is out now. And Ray, in this book,
Could this whole interview be a fluff piece for his book?
you have an analogy for the relationship among a country's government, its bank, and its debt. You write, to me, credit and money and credit are the lifeblood of the economy. The central government is like the brain that directs how the system works. The central bank is like the heart that produces and pumps money and credit through the system. What is your take on President Trump pushing the Fed chair to lower interest rates in terms of the good of the health of the economy as you speak of it?
It's mostly about the storehold of wealth aspects of money. You know, there's a balance. If you lower interest rates too much, then the creditor will get a bad return. And if you have interest rates too high, then it's bad for the debtor. And there's a balance. And always governments.
Oh, you mean like a market?
want the political system wants the stimulation, provide credit, and with the providing of the credit, everybody's happy because things go up, but they go up as you accumulate a lot of debt. And now we're in a situation where the government has such a large amount of debt and as a problem facing that debt, paying that debt. And so naturally, there's a pressure to lower those interest rates. And we're now in a different political environment in which the separation is being called into question because of the desire to lower those interest rates, to lower debt service, which is.
Yeah, and you know why we're not lowering the rates? Because of the freaking tariffs. I bet you if we didn't have the freaking tariffs, we would have been cutting rates already.
Is a problem as a storehold of wealth, as it doesn't provide a high enough return. So that balance is being called into question when you also have the independence being called into question.
So President Trump recently passed, with the help of the Republican Congress, the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act, his domestic economic agenda. The Congressional Budget Office projects it could add $3.3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade because of the continuation of these tax cuts. And actually, I think the 10-year projection of debt is still something like $20 trillion more in debt, even more, based on the conversation.
Yeah, we're going to grow so fast, bro. It's going to compensate for it. Yeah, okay. And when they do those projections, I bet they don't factor in crises. Like when we had the pandemic, yeah, we had much higher deficits. Anytime there's a crisis, there's even higher deficits than expected. So I suspect if there's a crisis, which there probably is going to be, I mean, it's a 10-year time horizon, the debt's going to be a lot higher than people are guessing.
You've had with leaders in Washington, Republicans and Democrats. What are your thoughts now that that bill is a law, in addition to the $9 billion in additional spending cuts against USAID and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting?
The economics of a country are the same as the economics of a individual or the economics of a country, of a company, except the government can print money and take money by taxes. So let's look at that. What we have is we're spending $7 trillion a year this year. We'll spend $7 trillion. We'll take in $5 trillion. So we're spending 40% more money than we're taking in. And we've accumulated a debt that's 6 times the amount of the money that we're taking in. As a result of that, interest payments and debt service payments are adding up. And the way it works is like the circulatory system works. Credit, as it goes through the system, brings nutrients and buying power to different parts of the system. And if that money is used to produce income, it's a healthy system because it pays the debt. But when it accelerates, it crowds out spending. And so you're seeing that debt service, interest, crowding out.
American exceptionalism is our deficits.
Spending. And that's the same as that circulatory system essentially having plaque in the circulatory system.
Cholesterol, right.
You could see it happening. And as a result of that, there's a supply-demand problem. As you mentioned, what happens is that $2 trillion a year is going to grow, and that's going to be nearly $25 trillion of new money that has to be sold. But in addition, we have to roll over the debt. And so we have that kind of a debt service problem. There are things that can be done, but it's politics that's standing in the way. If right now the budget deficit.
Yes, because the boomers aren't going to let anybody cut entitlements. They're not going to cut Social Security. They're not going to cut Medicare. They're not going to cut all that freaking nonsense. Okay? It ain't going to happen. It's just going to keep rolling along, and nobody will take. The only time we'll take action is if there is a severe crisis. And when that crisis happens, I have no idea. It could be decades away. You just got to sit there and be ready to take it in the rectum whenever it does happen.
Is about 7% of GDP. It can be cut to about 4% of GDP, 3 or 4%. Mm-hmm. So there's an ability to do that. But in order to do that, it has to come from a little bit of everything. It has to come from a little bit of taxes, a little bit, about 4% increase in taxes, essentially, 4% decrease in spending. And if that's done, then there will be an
increase in taxes. Oh, that definitely isn't happening anytime soon.
Equivalent of an interest rate cut, and that'll be balanced. If we don't do that, we are going to have a supply-demand problem. And one can see that, like a doctor looking at that plaque in the system, you can see that.
Dr.
President
Dalio.
Trump makes the argument that the tariffs that he's imposing, that the Fed says is the reason that they're not lowering interest rates because of all the instability and unsureness caused by the tariffs, that he says that those will help make up the revenue that the U.S. needs to fix the debt.
Well, it's correct that the tariffs, if done correctly, will bring in a significant amount of tax revenue. I would estimate about $300 billion a year, and over 10 years, that's $3 trillion, and that's significant. And part of that is also paid for by the foreigners who are exporting. There's some merit to that. But we have a problem nonetheless in terms of this supply-demand situation. It's not.
Yeah, but everybody's going to tariff each other, and we're all going to pay more prices around the globe. And the difference is going to go to the government. It's a tax. That's all it is. It's a consumption tax.
Not going to be enough to deal with that situation. And if we don't deal with it soon, then that increase in the amount of debt that will be experienced will end up causing that problem. It's a political problem. I was in Washington speaking to members of Congress on both sides, and Senate and the House. And pretty much everybody agrees on the supply, demand, and the issue. But it's a political problem. What I was told is essentially now politics are such that you have to make a pledge. At least one of two pledges. And that pledge is, I pledge not to raise your taxes.
Right.
And or I pledge not to cut your benefits. And with those pledges, those political pledges.
Isn't democracy awesome?
And both sides exerting a lot of pressure to do that, there's not going to be a resolution of that unless there's some bipartisan commission or something that might happen later. But
okay, so nothing's going to change. Thank you, Ray Dalio. It's such a clown show. Like, you just got to let it go. I'm so glad that I'm diversified globally. I can't even explain it to you. All right, let's do some comments. I think Daddy's going to go to bed because I got a busy day with the kiddos tomorrow. They already made a mess in the freaking room. There's Pikachu. There's Pikachu. There's toys on the freaking ground. Let's just make a mess. Tesla's up today because Kathy Wood bought it. 20x from here. Yeah, oh yeah, I saw Elon's little stupid tweet. I'm only answering member comments. You want me to answer your comments? Pay the membership fee. Ryu from Dexy, Sexy Dexy. American Airlines is down. Yeah, that stock got cooked, dude. That means it's a bad company. I mean, at least the historical earnings growth and free cash flow growth isn't looking pretty good. Now, maybe they could change in the future. I don't freaking know, but I'm not an expert in the airline industry. It's possible. I'm telling you, airlines have been pissing me off, dude. They've been pissing me off every freaking time I get delayed and stuck. Every time. What's up, Pay Pigs? Let's see. Analyze the greatest ETFs should die. I've done that multiple times, bruh. Just got home from work. Take my money. Thank you very much, good sir. That's right. I love brutalizing my Pay Pigs. Strongman needs to release the files. Oh, yeah, I have all the Epstein files. Yeah. Why so blue tube? Member for 2 months? Talk about Dan Ives being a super grifter. That's a whole separate video, dude. Whole separate video. And basically, he's just a tech pumper. He's a tech pumper. It's just like there's a lot of grifts. There's the dividend grift. There's the trading grift. There's the tech grift. There's a grift for every piece of the market. He's in the tech side of the grift. I just checked out Dalio's book from the library, Principles. Yeah, that whole interview was just a fluff piece for his book. Oh, so I saw you have this book you wrote, Ray Dalio. Could you imagine if I went on there? Oh, Mr. Bell, so you had this book, Stop Being a Broke Loser, on Amazon. Yes, sir. Okay, so you wanted to talk about index funds today. Yes, I did, good sir. Thank you very much. Don't forget to buy my book, Stop Being a Broke Loser, on Amazon. Seriously, go buy it. I do have a book. It's called Stop Being a Broke Loser. I made $5 last month. One person bought my book last month, and I saw a $5 deposit into my bank account. I'm printing. That Jerome Powell clip is hilarious. Totally clown Trump. Yeah, Trump in a hard hat. He looks like a child. Oh, Jerome Powell messed up the renovations. Let's fire him, bro. Ray Dalio is garbage. He's just trying to sell a stupid book. That Fed building is a historic landmark and is cancer trap. It's got tons of asbestos. I mean, yeah, a lot of government buildings do. Let's see. I see whiners in the comments, but guess what? If you're not paying the membership fee, I can't answer your comments on the live streams. I just can't do it. My clients are paying me for my time and for my attention. And you have to pay me too if you want my attention. I'm sorry. Call a lawyer. Bro, we literally have magic soil. Yeah, we have deficits that we can just sustain indefinitely. That's American exceptionalism. Magic soil. And it was 2.5 billion, not 3.2 billion. That's what Powell was saying no to. Dump was inflating that figure to try and say it was way more expensive than Trump was exaggerating. No, Trump doesn't do that. But my groceries, bro. My groceries. Look, people complain about the cost of food going up. You can adapt, okay? I can get, here's what I got today, or it was yesterday. I got Food Lion brand pasta, whole wheat pasta. It's full of fiber, good for you. And I think it tastes better. It was like $1. I got pasta sauce for $1 and like 10 cents, or like maybe it was 20 cents. So that's $2.20. And then I got 5 sausages on discount for like $2.50. So this whole huge meal that I can make, I'm probably going to make it tomorrow, cost me $4.50. It could feed me for 2 dinners. Like, and it's good. It's sausage, whole wheat pasta. Oh, inflation, bro. Ah! You have to adapt. And I get a lot of rotisseries. I can get a rotisserie for $4 or $5. What do you think of Google stock? It's a great company. It's in my ETF. VT. Have you heard of it? Sir Finley, he's all in. Ong for real, for real. Beef is expensive, but not the organ meat. Got me a beef liver for $2.97. That was dinner for 2 nights with onions and mushrooms. Yeah, I've basically stopped eating beef. I mean, I might get it on occasion, like, because I also like making pasta with ground beef. I like pasta. I think it's pretty good. I got a pasta body. But yeah, one of my go-to meals is pasta and sausage or pasta and ground beef. It's super easy to make, and it fills me up. And it can last for 2 meals. 2 like solid gut-busting meals. And I make it for my kids, but they don't freaking eat it. I don't like pasta, Daddy. I don't like pasta. What do you want? They're addicted to Chick-fil-A. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I don't think I'm going to do another live stream. I have one scheduled on the other channel, but I think I'm going to bust you out tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe. If you want your comments answered, you need to pay me, okay? I'm going to print. I'm going to be doing these videos all the time, morning and night. And if you want me to answer your comments, you better give me some of that cheddar. If not, you're going to be ignored. You're just going to sit there and you're going to type your stupid little comments, and nobody's going to answer it. All right. Have a good night.